today we are going to be working on laying out our fabric onto the material. But first, remember we did this last time, and as I was saying, I think I mentioned that to you guys, on every pattern, whether it's a commercial pattern or you make your pattern yourself, you should always have information on your patterns to direct your cutter as to what to do with this pattern, right? So for example, this is the front of the skirt, and at the center front right here, this is what I mark fold. So whoever is cutting this pattern would know this side goes on the fold. Also, it says cut one, unfold. So things like that you need to put on your patterns and make sure that they are correctly written so that your cutter will know exactly what to do. So as you can tell, we have three pieces, just a basic skirt block that we're working with today: the front, the back, and the waistband. So let's get started with this, and I'll show you exactly how you can do it. So this is the fabric that we're going to be working on. We're going to imagine that this is a really big piece of fabric, but it's not. Just work with me, okay? Now what we're going to do, when you have your patterns, you're not just going to put your pattern like this, because first of all, this is the wrong way to put it, because you have so much material here that is going to be wasted, and your front is not facing on the fold. So remember that, okay? So first you're going to open your fabric, and then you're going to fold the amount that you think you need. You're going to lay your patterns down to make sure that you have sufficient material, you know, for your seam allowance. And right away I can see that I have sufficient material right here and at the side, on this end and on this end, okay? I turn the front of the skirt, this is the waist, the back of the skirt, that's the waist. You might wonder why I turn it like that. I often turn it like that because the grain is going both ways, right? So it doesn't matter for me at this time whether I turn it that way or I turn it this way. It will still be fine. Imagine I turn it that way. That would be wrong because the grain line on my pattern is going in the upward direction, but the fabric grain should be going that way. So it cannot turn like this, okay? So you can either put it like this, where the two side seams are together, or you can turn it the opposite way and it still would work, but always follow your grain. Okay, so let's just say we lay it down like this. We have sufficient on the hem to turn up, okay? So now I am going to leave the front like that. Okay, but remember this is the waist, so at the top here for the back I would have to leave sufficient for the seam allowance. Okay, so that is fine. Right, so what you'll do here next is get your chalk and you mark your pattern, and make sure you mark all your areas, like your notches, your darts, and everything. And then obviously once you mark your pattern out, remember you have to, as long as the pattern say to add seam allowance, which in this case it says to add 1 centimeter seam allowance, what you do once you finish marking out your pattern, and you'll add your 1 centimeter seam around your pattern. So I'm going to mark this out so you can see what I'm talking about. Right, as you can see, I'm marking all my areas just to make sure. I'll just do that one, the front, and then you'll see. So right away I know right here is my hip line. Then I need to add my 1 centimeter seam. So what I'll do, I'll just go around this and add my 1 centimeter seam. Alright, so now what I'm going to do is just cut this out so you can see. Alright, so you make your notches so you know exactly what is what, okay? And then this is going to be my dart here. going to notch the center front so we know that's it. After that, you can open that out and you can see that's your skirt right here. So you know this is going to be your dart. I'm just going to put a pin here for now. Alright, so you see this is a skirt front. So you see once you put this down on the fold, once you put your pattern on the fold, some people when they see it, they'll be like, isn't this too small? No, because you have it on the fold, so you basically cut in two, right? And this is the front of your skirt right here. Alright, so as I was saying, for example, this is cut out. So what I'll do is simply open that out and fold it again up to the length of this. Now you see this is on the fold, so over here would be on the fold. I hope I'm making myself clear. So when you lay this down, and remember you have to add the seam allowance as well onto this waistband. Okay, so if you do that, always check your material underneath, right? And then you mark your pattern again. Mark all your notches wherever they are. And then obviously you have that 1 centimeter seam, but then you're gonna notch, you notch, and you notch. Okay. So I have all my notches down here. One of the first things you do when you're making a skirt, you make your darts up, right? So I'm just going to place some pins where the darts would be. You can put your zipper in after you finish making your darts. Right side to right side, you stitch up the back up to as far as the length of the zipper that you're going to put in this, right? You put in your zipper, and then right side to right side up to the front, stitch your sides, and you have your skirt. And after that you put your waistband on. So what I did, I made up this skirt here so you can see on the mannequin. This is the exact same skirt from the block that I did previously. It doesn't have a zipper in the back, it's just a pretend closure. And see the pretend closure, you can see my darts in the back here. And if you don't want two darts in the back, which is two here and two there, you can eliminate one, right? And you have your darts in the front here. It's just a basic skirt block, simple skirt block. All right, I hope you enjoy that bit, and I hope you understand that bit. It's quite simple, so you can go ahead and try that for yourself. Always remember to follow all your directions on your pattern, all. If it says to cut two, cut two. And this is what it says here on the back, cut two fabric. If you're gonna cut lining, you mark cut two fabric, cut two lining. If you're gonna put interfacing in anything and you need two interfacing, you cut two fabric, two lining, two interfacing. It's quite easy to follow. Once you follow it, you'll be all right. The first thing, master how to take your measurement. Then you master how to cut this pattern, and then you master how to put it all together. And once you put it all together, then that would be your first project that you can be proud of. All right, hopefully that you do good and be great, and I'll see you next time.